Improvisations on Growth with Madhu Einsiedler, business and life coach. My name is Adina Arhire and I am the hostess of this series. You are about to listen to the third podcast on the very interesting topic of listening. Its first two parts and the last one you can find on Madhu's website, so I encourage you to listen to all and learn more about listening. Should we strive to listen in the same way to everybody, in the sense of being present and being open and listening with our hearts and minds? Or do you feel we should always adjust to, depending, for example, well, it's my sister, I'm going to pretend like I'm listening, but I'm really busy and she has her own life, or, oh, it's my boss, so I really, really need to look straight at him and pretend and make him see that I'm very, very involved into this. Does that make sense? What I'm asking?
Do you have like two examples? I mean, you mentioned your sister and the boss. Is there a situation where you're unsure about how you best deal with the situation? Like where you're not sure how you should listen there?
I feel like certain people, speaking of being on an autopilot, automatically act differently, right? In different situations, in different instances. So when you're at work and you're in a meeting, you are making efforts to listen in a certain way, but then you're with your friends and you might listen in a different way. How is this way of listening affecting us? Should we try to be the same, to be listening in a certain way each time, regardless of who's listening to us? Or is it normal to adjust depending on your context, social context, emotional context, and so on?
I think it's normal that we adjust. And the thing that should be always there is that we are aware of what we are doing. Like when I'm in a business meeting, actually, a lot of my clients, they complain that especially in business meetings, no one is listening. And especially now with virtual teams spread out all over the world, they're coming together on an internet platform, whatever, and have their virtual meeting there. And what happens in reality is that most of them are on mute and they're pretend that they are listening to whoever is giving a speech or a presentation, but in reality, they're answering their emails.
Or probably processing 10% of the conversation, and the 90 is lost.
Exactly, the most, the 10%. So you're really generous with the 10%. This is not really a conscious decision that they're taking. Maybe it's a rational decision in the sense of, okay, I have like 10,000 emails to answer and this meeting is useless because we are not taking any decisions and why ever we are getting together and or the discussion is going in circles anyways. And then
maybe it's the medium, maybe the digital and the Skype, although it seems so easy, it's taking something from the conversation as opposed to being in person.
That could be. So what some companies are doing is they demand that everybody is on video and not just audio. So to make sure that people at least seem to be present. And then yet when I think back at real meetings, it was sort of the same. You know, people, they were in the same room, but they were, and with today's meetings, it's still the same. A lot of them are not prepared. It's not sure what the goal of the meeting is. There's no facilitation. And then people start playing on their mobile phone, or they're making notes, or answering emails again. So I guess what I tried to say is what we really need is more awareness of why we are doing what we are doing.
My following question actually, if you feel like the setting or the environment affects listening.
Yeah, that's rightly so. We need to make a decision what we want in a certain situation and how we want to connect to someone else.
So it's pretty much, for example, like I'm meeting a friend and right before meeting her, 5 minutes when I'm in the car, and I kind of set my commitment and my goal for that meeting with her. What am I committed to bringing to the conversation as far as my own self? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, yeah, that's what I'm saying. So, am I meeting her because I haven't seen her for a long time and I just want to reconnect and see how life is? Or do I feel, oh, I really would like to have an intimate, deep conversation with her because we haven't had that one in quite a long time. And then it's also the setting. Are you meeting in a loud bar? Are you out for drinks? Are you in an intimate coffee house? Are you going for a stroll? So it's all about being conscious what you want, what you are looking for. And then there are people we still meet, although it's not a deep conversation and we might not feel like we want to open up to them. It's like with acquaintances or certain colleagues. And then it's always upon us to make the decision how we want to how far we want to connect, how we want to connect.
So
Okay.
speaking of that, I am just not good at small talk with especially topics that I just don't find interesting, such as socialites. I'm just going to give you a general enough example. And if you happen to have any advice at all as how to make this a little easier, because I do realize I want to talk to everyone. It's just certain conversations I feel like I am not good at it in the sense of, okay, do you know who married who in Hollywood? And a lot of people are interested in this. I am not. In such an instance, is there anything that you suggest?
I guess my question would be, why do you feel you need to have those kind of conversations?
Because let's say it depends on the person. Let's say it's someone within the family and I cannot shut down that person, or out of respect and out of consideration of, okay, this is my dear friend and I love everything about her and somehow she's into this. So it's almost like you need to accept the entire person, including that, even though that little 5% is just really, really difficult for me to deal with.
How about you tell them?
You know, the significant detail, I think that's how we call it, the very, very significant detail. How about hurting their feelings if I tell them?
Oh, well, would you? Like if they really are into, I don't know, Hollywood marriages, would that hurt their feeling if you would say, wow, it's so amazing what you know, I have no idea about this. So I'm not really sure how to share this topic with you. How does something like this sound to you?
How about then Adina sounding like snotty, like oh? So I guess my conversation is not good enough for her. I need quantum physics because this is the conversation that's going on in my head.
Have you ever tried?
No, I figured I'd talk to Madhu first.
Well, that's always a good decision. And seriously, have you ever tried? Have you ever tried to share your unease, or it's not an unease. It feels like you don't feel apt to do this.
I think there's an underlying conversation that how do we say it? Like suck it up, in the sense of okay, it's not gonna kill you. Just have a courtesy conversation and pretend like you're interested. And I think we're getting into other issues here as well. That's my feeling. But yes, these are the conversations that are happening in my head. Like, well, you know what? I can bear with this for 5 minutes, hearing about the Kardashians. And yes, I actually used the name. I'm sorry. I couldn't help it. So
I guess I would agree that we're getting into another topic, and leading it back to listening. I could have the hypothesis and say, well, maybe you listen more to your anticipation. There are a zillion of ways of phrasing this without hurting anybody.
We thank you so much for listening. This concludes our third podcast on listening, so make sure you have already listened to the first two and check out the fourth one, which is also the last. We'd love to hear your thoughts and to get your feedback, so you're welcome to email Madhu directly at madhu@einsiedler.at or to reach out on Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram, and Twitter. Thank you again, and until next time, have fun improvising life.